Good morning. If you are ready for an open conversation, you know what I want you to do? I want you to stay right here because today on Shero Coffee Chat, we are talking leadership, faith, and life. All good subjects, right? So join the chat and don't forget what I want you to do right now is subscribe. We will see you shortly.
Air assault. Hello, friends, and welcome to Shero Coffee Chat. We hope you've had a great week, and thank you for joining us today. We've got a full cup ahead, so grab your Shero coffee, because we're taking a spin around the Shero resource table. Plus, we've got your chat, tip, and guest of the week. Let's give a big shout out to our host, Melissa Farmer Hill, Army Combat Veteran, host of Shero Coffee Chat, and founder of the Shero Coffee Club, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. And now, reporting for duty and ready to lead the conversation, Melissa Farmer Hill.
Aerosol! Good morning, friends. I am Melissa Farmer Hill. Yes, I am a retired Army combat veteran, author of Army Strong Women, and the founder of the Shero Coffee Club, where I amplify the voices of women veterans and women who show up as champions in everyday life, because we got the tea now. We've got the tea now. And I do that through coffee and tea and conversations that we lead right here on the Shero Coffee Chat. I want to thank you for joining us today. Yes, and I hope that you've had a great weekend. I put my headphones on. At first, I asked my guest, I was like, can you hear the washing? Can you hear the dishwasher going on in the back? She said no. And I said, well, I forgot. We've got a sleepover going on. So there's no telling what's going to happen when these girls wake up and what time they're going to wake up. So I put my headphones on to respect the noise pollution that's probably going to happen here soon. But, as always, I want to get right into it. And I'm so happy that we have today's guest, and I'm so happy about this interview because I usually kind of, I ask people to just provide me with some questions, and she said, let's just have an open conversation. And I absolutely love that. I love this for wrapping up Women's History Month. I love this for wrapping up our Women in Leadership series. It's an open conversation because I think we need to start having more of those. We really do. And so I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'm going to get into it. Valerie Elizabeth Young is a decorated military veteran of the Army, which is part of the United States Armed Forces, and a pillar of strength in the East St. Louis, Illinois community. Shout out to East St. Louis this morning. Thank you for joining us. As a proud mother of two, Sultan and VerTRUoz, she leads not only in uniform and title. Notice what I said. She leads not only in uniform and title, because we're going to talk about that, but in spirit, in integrity, and in legacy. Valerie currently serves as the post commander of VFW Post 3480 in East St. Louis, Illinois. Let's give another shout out to VFW Post 3480 right there in East St. Louis. She is a two-time All-State and All-American commander. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Commander Young. She has distinguished herself through excellence, discipline, and unwavering commitment to veterans and their families through strategic collaboration and partnerships with multiple veteran and community organizations. She's worked tirelessly to ensure service members receive the advocacy, resources, and the dignity they deserve. But her leadership does not stop at the post doors. Valerie identifies not only as a community leader, but as a mentor. Yes, we need more of those too. Guiding, uplifting, and empowering others to walk boldly in their purpose. Ooh, she got the light on her. Her service is rooted in compassion and accountability, shaped by both military structure and spiritual grounding. Valerie's current emotional season following the recent passing of her mother is paying homage to the woman who shaped her strength, resilience, and moral compass. Through every act of service, every decision made with integrity, and every life she impacts, her mother's legacy lives on. Valerie leads by example, turning grief into grace and love into leadership. Her story is not simply one of achievement, it is one of devotion to country, to community, to family, and to faith. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's give a round of applause for Commander Valerie Young.
Thank you. Good morning to you, Miss Farmer Hill.
Good morning to you, Commander Young. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day. I think we have to start really acknowledging when people show up and support and say yes, because there's so much to do out here in life.
Yes.
Everything seems like it takes so much longer to do. So I just want to acknowledge you. I just want to say thank you. And I want to say I appreciate you coming and sharing on our last and final women, helping us close out the Women in Leadership episode, because it's so important. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed just by your words, two of them. Open conversation. That's deep, because people, a lot of people, they want to be strategic, and I really want them to promote what they're doing. I want them to, share their resources and things like that. But an open conversation is very rare. And I just want to thank you for joining us right here and doing it right here on the Shero Coffee Chat. And so I'm not gonna waste time, of course. I want to get into it. Now, I had read earlier in your bio that your mom's passing. When did she pass?
Yeah, I say the term recent because when it comes to grief, it's not really a time frame, because it can seem like yesterday or hours ago. But my recent, if you will, she did pass April 15th, 2025. So it's recent enough, and we are coming around on that anniversary as well.
Oh, wow. Condolences to you and your family. And I think you are an amazing reflection of resilience. You are definitely a amazing reflection of resilience. Now, you have had to lead through this personal loss. How did you, losing your mother, change the way you lead or change your outlook on life?
Yeah, so when it comes to grief, I don't think many people are prepared for it. With my mother's transition, if you will, it was definitely unexpected. And what I try not to do is try to go back in my head, trying to replay it, because it's more stressful on me to do that. But you still wonder what happened, because I was around my mom all the time. I seen her, and had I known if that was the last moment, and it's a little bit emotional, but forgive me. I miss her very much, and I'm okay with verbalizing my hurt, my pain, my missing puzzle. We are a reflection of our parents, and I pray people understand that. And I would encourage, if there's any broken relationships out there, understand you only get one. Now, you probably get 2, 3, or 4 when you adopt it and all that. But I'm talking about the one who bore you. You only get one particular parent. And I really pray, because there shouldn't be nothing anyone could do in your life that you say, I will not speak to you no longer.
Oh my goodness. Isn't that so true? Because you never, those would be famous last words. And you got families who are just not communicating. They've disassociated themselves from other family members over something, and you could really look at it over something really small.
And I tell you one thing, as long as I live, my mother lives, and I will always put my best foot forward. I'm more, you asked a question earlier, what's changed, and I'm more passionate now. I mean, I was always, but regardless, I'm more passionate now, more empathetic now. I'm more driven now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to honor my mom every day. And that's why I try to put her in my bio, but I'll try not to use the word recent, but anytime it's recent to a person who's grieving. Um, there are a lot of grief resources out there with the VA, Veteran
Mm-hmm.
Administration. Sis, I got to say
Mm-hmm.
this disclaimer.
Right.
We can't say acronyms
Right. I know.
'cause
I
we
know.
don't
And
know
it's so
who's watching.
right.
So if
Absolutely.
I say an
Absolutely.
acronym, I'm going to follow it up with what it
Yeah.
actually means.
Yeah.
But I am receiving um, grief services through the VA currently and
Mm-hmm.
through a local support at my church. Her name is Rosalind Riley, and she
Mm-hmm.
really does do grief support every second Saturday from 11 a.m. to possibly 12:30, and that's at New Life Community Church. I'm trying to make sure everybody eat because she's providing resources.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing, especially with something that's sensitive as grief.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, if you've had a mom that's been in your life, that's poured into you, everybody doesn't get that, and
Yeah.
we we understand and acknowledge that. But when you have a mom that's poured her love into you, the love of a mother, that your grief to me um never ends. You just find ways to cope with it, and like you said, no one can put, oh yeah, okay, you got a year to grieve.
Mhm.
That doesn't happen when you've been loved, when you've had a mother's love, in my opinion. So yeah, shout out to Rosalind Riley. Shout out. I'm shouting out everybody at East
Shout
St.
them out.
Louis today.
Look, I say names around here, but you know,
Right.
I've learned a few things since I've been in grief counseling,
Yeah.
if you will. And this is geared towards parents. They say your parents know what it's like to live in a world without you, but you don't know what it's like to live in a world without them.
Yeah.
And then what I learned from Miss Rosalind, she talks about how grief is normal, how it is needed,
Mm-hmm.
how it is necessary. And those are
Yeah.
her three ends because it is a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
We were born into this world. We're gonna do whatever our purpose is in this world, and eventually we're gonna transition. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why we want to make sure we're spiritually inclined or have that relationship, if you will, with God. So I can talk about it, So
Yeah.
I'm open.
I love that you're sharing. I love that normal, needed, and necessary. And in a harsh world,
Mhm.
we need that. We need to be able to, express ourselves emotionally.
Yeah.
We need to be able to talk about what's going on, because when you suppress it, to me, that's when it impacts your mental health in such a way that sometimes you might not ever make it back to what we consider a normal life. And I'm glad you mentioned faith too, because that's my next question. um how has your faith carried you? It's how has your faith carried you through the grief, and how has your faith carried you, in moments when you didn't have all the answers? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So I want to be very, very clear. When my mom passed, I didn't blame God, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because death is a part of life.
Right.
Now, what I was questioning and running back through my head was I just saw this woman, my mother. I just, because I'm over there, like I said, every day.
Yeah.
And you just never know what tomorrow holds. The word says it. Don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. No man
Right.
know what the hour, the day, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we just don't know. I will tell you, I remember vividly the first night my mom passed, the first day, night, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
I was so torn and hurt And I'm gonna throw another name out, Cheryl Montgomery. She's an elder in the church. Shout out to her.
Shout out Cheryl Montgomery.
I was so paranoid and I was so hurt and my heart was racing and I probably was having a panic attack, who knows. And I called this woman, you know, when they say the midnight hour.
Yes.
I called her in the 3 a.m. hour. And she prayed with me all night and she sang me to sleep like a mother would. And I would never forget that.
Hold on. Because I felt that in my soul. Oh, my goodness. Right?
Yes.
How she prayed for you and sang you to sleep. Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was like, wait a minute.
No. This is an open conversation. Remember, this is candid. Right. Yeah. No, she did that. And I don't want to say I'll be forever indebted, but I will say I will forever remember that. Meaning that's a tie to my mother. Right. You know, sometimes when people leave your life, unfortunately, unexpectedly, however, someone steps in. Now, don't get me wrong, Cheryl has always been there, but this was a more intimate level way. And, you know, I never called her in the midnight hour before.
Right.
You know? So it was definitely needed. She sang me to sleep, literally.
But here's the amazing part, you know, how God works. Like you said, you never needed her before. And when you called her, it wasn't I'll call you back. It wasn't a message on the phone. It was you understand what I'm saying? She was right there. And I think it really speaks to how we definitely need, you know, people in our lives. A lot of people are out here living independently. Do you have five people that you can call in the midnight hour? You need to ask yourself that. And wait a minute, not only that, can they get a prayer through?
Yeah. And it's not that I've always I want to make a minor tweak to that. It's not that I needed her, meaning we've always had a good relationship.
Yes,
I just didn't know that I needed her in that context of that that life experience that happened to me.
I get it.
But yeah, Cheryl has always been there, but I never seen her show up like that in that moment.
Wow. And she was ready. God had prepared her for what you needed.
Oh, Cheryl, look, I know we all got them in our life. You always got an elder who be like, all right, baby, I got my Bible and look, she ready. So it don't matter what time it is, you know, but she always tell me she tarry with God in the wee hours anyway. So
yeah. And so for those who don't know what tarrying means, how would you describe that?
I will describe that as communing or coming to God at a specific time in your life, or just a form of communication, however you want to make that. And it's a repetitive type of thing. You're not saying the same thing repetitively, but you're coming to God with your specific needs or requirements, or you asking God, what is it that I can do for you? So it's just a relationship building type of situation.
Wonderful. And so what would you say is the importance of having people like that in your life? Because so many people are doing it alone. And I really want you to speak to that, somebody that you can call. I know how I had mentioned it, but how important was having someone like Cheryl, and bless you, Cheryl Montgomery, how was having someone like that in your life? What's the importance of that? How would you tell someone else that, like, why that's important?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I just want to say we have a prayer line 7 days a week, 365 from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. This is my shameless plug, y'all. You have a prayer line every day, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And we have a 5 a.m. prayer. That's for people who really, really want to get out there in the streets. And I'm saying SKREETS and really have their relationship with God. Now that 5 a.m. prayer, that's something totally different. What that is every second Saturday from 5 a.m. to 8, we go to neighboring churches and we tarry, if you will, with God. The first hour will be praise and worship. The second hour will be just praying, come to the altar, and the third hour we'll just have a guest speaker, and we just coming together. And you will be surprised how many people show up at that 5 a.m. prayer. But from the 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., that's every day. And we have facilitators for 7 days a week. I facilitate on Thursdays. And what that is you just kind of lead prayer. Anyone who have prayer requests, testimonies, or just want to have an open conversation regarding prayer, that will be the place to do so. And we've had so many breakthroughs, Miss Farmer Hill. I'm sorry, do you want me to call you Miss Farmer Hill or Miss Hill? What do you want me to do?
Call me Melissa.
Oh, Miss Melissa. Okay. One thing about me, I'm big on titles, however you want me to address it, because I mean no disrespect. But you said I can call you Melissa. I guess what they say, my friends call me Melissa.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it. So we come together. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the number while I'm talking to you. Yeah. But we come together all the time. We do testimonies, we do praise reports, anything that's beneficial. And we've had all type of people on that line who cried out to the Lord. And I'm telling you, there's nothing like a mother's cry, if you know what I mean, when it comes to any tragedy or any grief or there's nothing like a testimony when people tell you the things they have been through, and you're like, oh my goodness, But let me give you that number right quick, because I'm not
go ahead.
Okay, so
this is the prayer line. Hold on, I'm gonna create it while we're talking. I'm gonna create it.
All right, this is our New Life Community prayer line, right? And it's from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay.
7 days a week.
Okay.
That number is 712 832 7030. And the access code is pound 1919. So that's the the little number sign,
Yeah, pound 1919.
Yeah, that's the access code. And I just want to get people's spirit filled. God say, go out and make disciples, okay? And spread the good news. But you don't want to push God on people. You don't want to make it a forceful situation.
Absolutely.
Let them know, hey, it is an opportunity. They say, try Shero Coffee, try Jesus, try God. So, we just try to spread the word, spread the good news.
Absolutely. And that's what we should be doing. And I'm glad that I have a platform where we can talk about anything. Like you said, it's an open conversation. Now I'm going to shift it. I'm going to shift it just a little bit. And I want to get into leadership. So I want to know, here's how I look at leadership. Everybody is a leader. As a matter of fact, my husband just told me that last night, because of what we're called to do on earth. So but it's levels to it, right? So you can just lead yourself. You can lead your household. You can lead your community. You can lead the state. You can lead the nation. So it's different types of leadership. Now, what is the hardest call that you think you had to make as a leader? Because leading is not easy.
So first off, shout out to husband. Okay. You got a life partner. Okay. Let me just throw that. That's what I'm looking for. But it's he that findeth a wife. I'm putting myself out there. But he that findeth a wife who got a good relationship with God, who's very chivalrous, that's me. But Miss Melissa. You can just call me Melissa. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I was brought up with respect,
Right. Go ahead.
Melissa, I'm working on it. I don't perceive anything in life as hard. Now, one thing, if I may say, because I never want to offend, we have to watch what we say and how we say it. Now, we're human, so things are going to slip. But do I think anything in life is hard? No. But do I think that there's challenges? Oh, goodness, yes. So in regards to leadership, you don't know you can do it until you can do it at the end of the day. When I joined our local Veteran of Foreign Wars, or VFW, I came in as a member. And I just wanted to, observe, because I'm an observant person. Or let me scratch that. I'm an observant Aquarius. With that being said, I just sit back and I observe, because you need to know your target audience. You know, I'm
You
also
do.
a poet, so you need to know your target audience, how you speak, who's in the audience. I've
Right.
been an investigator. You need to know your target audience. And I say that to say, I've been a member for quite some time. And then one day I said, well, let me try to do this. Let me try to do that. And then you're supposed to watch the leaders before you. You
Right.
have to be observant. Now, I could never be a leader like you, Melissa, and you can never be a leader like me. So when you are in that role, trust me, you're going to do it based off your character. That's the trick in the network business, by the way. They don't support the product, they support the people. So your coffee may be, and I'm not saying it is, it probably may be so disgusting, or your tea may be disgusting, but
It's not.
they're supporting Melissa. Okay. They support what you have to offer.
Right.
They support what you have to bring. You could drink that coffee and be like, oh, this is some good old rib. You can treat that coffee however you want, because it's a perception.
Right.
And that's how I step.
That's the same. That's the exact word that came up for me.
Yes. So I just believe when it comes to leadership, it is a nervous thing to do. It is an unexpected thing to do. You have new tasks coming your way, and you just have to step into it.
Wonderful. Have you ever really felt like, okay, so let's talk about leadership. As a woman, you've had to prove yourself in certain circles because you were a woman.
Goodness, yes.
And what was that experience like, and what did you do?
Well, unfortunately, how this world is ran, and I don't want to get you canceled. You have white men, white women, black men, black women. And it's like a social order, if you will. And they try to let people know you have to know your place. With that being said, when it comes to leadership, in certain instances, it was difficult as a woman. So with that being said, I had to not say, well, I'm going to show you. I don't have to say a thing, because I'm going to tell you something. If you are smart, if you are spiritual, religious, Christian, if you are anything, you don't have to say nothing. Your action is going to speak louder than what you do. And I've been the commander. This is just the commander role at the VFW at the age of 41. I'm 44 now. And I'm going to tell you my secret to being the commander. I tell secrets, y'all. And
we want to hear secrets.
That secret is God. I'm serious. That secret is God. How I felt with the VFW. I don't know if you were this person or this kid at one time where growing up you didn't have food. Grandma didn't have their food, and she put on a pot of beans, and she made that pot of beans stretch for a whole week. That's how I felt when it came to leadership with the VFW. And it's not a literal sense. I want the audience to understand that it's more metaphorically. It's more like being humble. It's more about taking what you have and making it stretch. My quartermaster, shout out to Janine Flemings.
Shout out to Janine Fleming. We giving all the names today.
You always tell me, Valerie, if it's just me or you, or me and you, we gonna keep doing what we do. And sometimes you don't have that participation that you like, or that happens, but life keep lifing. You can't just put a pause and say that's it, or you could quit. I want to be clear. You do have choices on what you can do. But I say, if my name is the spearhead of it, and I care about my name, I care about my legacy, I care about what I produce, we gonna make something happen.
That's beautiful. I love the fact that you do things in excellence. That's what I like to call it. Especially if your name is put on something. And I definitely feel the same way. You don't want to, do anything halfway. So let's talk about, we talked about titles. We talked about titles. And a lot of people, they just want the titles without the responsibility. You see a lot of people chasing those titles. Have you ever seen someone or experienced, because we know you don't do it. Have you ever seen that? And what are your thoughts on that? People who chase titles without the responsibility and don't want the responsibility.
I will say this, and I'm always saying respectfully saying,
Yeah.
I'm always do investigative talk because I don't put something on a person. I will say allegedly or whatever, because
Yeah.
what I don't like to do is speak for people. But what I'm guessing, well, what I'm going to say is this: we all are naive. And the problem is this: people think the word naive is a bad word. It really isn't. It's just we don't know, we're unaware or uneducated about something. And when it comes to people wanting the title and not the other stuff, it could be how they were raised, it could be their context and their intent, whatever. I just know when you be authentic about whatever role and responsibility you have, I'm telling you, you are going to feel it. You're going to be passionate about it. You're going to do some serious work behind the scenes. And by the way, when I'm saying this to you, I'm telling you what I know and what I'm doing currently today, because the passion has to be there. Your intent and your content has to be there. There's no shame if people want to work the way you express. You know, you got the title and then the other stuff you don't want, but you got to work diligently for what you desire out of life. And once again, this goes back to your faith. Trust me, when you are authentic about the duties and responsibilities you're doing, oh, you're going to be blessed abundantly.
Wonderful, wonderful. I totally agree with you on that. Now, I keep hearing this word investigator come up. I didn't read that in your bio.
I short the bio. It's too many things in the bio.
No, you should have put everything in there, because I want to give everyone who comes on Shero Coffee Chat their flowers, even if I got to spend 5 minutes reading your bio, because guess what? You never know. That could be the last time that's read. Someone's bio is read. And I want to make sure at least they know when it comes to Shero Coffee Chat, she told everything about me.
Oh, but Lord, no, she said everything.
So let's talk about the investigator. Tell us about that experience, how you were involved, and what you learned from that, because that really helps with leadership, I think.
You know, believe it or not, everything happens in your home. And I don't think people know that, or at an age where they can identify that. I've always been observant in my home. I'm talking about from a little babe onto a adult, if you will. And within that time, it allows me to grow. So just fast forward, I was with DCFS, which is
right,
child services, basically, child abuse and neglect.
Of child,
yeah.
I'm trying to look it up. Go ahead, keep telling your story.
Well, because they call them different things in different locations. Some people call it Child Protective Services or DCFS.
Children and family.
Correct.
And family
so
services,
I definitely was an investigator of child abuse and neglect. That is a very humbling experience. And if you are a parent and you're going to do that job, understand every job is not meant for every parent to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been an investigative. I've seen, I've heard, I experienced so many stories. We've broken down child abuse and neglect. We've broken down trauma. We've broken down grief. All this embodies child abuse and neglect. And you have to know how to talk to your audience. You have to know how to talk to children. And I think that kind of gives me an edge because I'm in the community all the time. Or if you're in the church aspect, they will call it outreach, if you will. But it's all about the context of what you're teaching in the outreach spectrum.
Yeah.
But with child abuse and neglect, that job is not for everyone. I'm just going to be very transparent. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be humble. It's some instances where you cannot be biased. And you have to, reason why you can't be biased, because the goal is for you to get the facts and, of course, save that child. Safety is first. Reunification is second when it comes to something of that nature.
I'm glad you said, did you say every job is not for everybody?
Oh, yes, goodness.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because when I was writing my book, Army Strong Women, it's a vignette of just women talking about what led them to join the Army and, any, pointers they could point out to young girls who were trying to join. I had this one interview and she was a chaplain's assistant and she was a social worker before she joined the military. So what drove her to the military to become a chaplain's assistant was the fact that she had to go to the jails and she had to, I guess, be a social worker for people who were pedophiles. And she said that got to her so much. Because she had a daughter. It got to her so much she literally had to just run away from, because of the story. She said how they would sit there and tell these stories of how they abuse these children, and just have no qualms about it. Just evil personified. Just looking at it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I said, like, every job, like, I totally agree with you. Every job is not for every person. I know, definitely know I couldn't do it. And like you said, even in your position, you can't have biases. And so I'm sure as a social worker, she had to have the same thing.
And so shout out to her. Shout out to that lady.
And so listening to their stories, I'm sure it was like too much, especially when you have a daughter. But yeah, so thank you for letting us know about that your little, you got so many. I got
so many things. It's untold. But if I can do a segue to that lady's situation there. So yeah, I do agree. I have been that social worker, as she mentioned, and I also was a foster care case manager.
Wow.
And I did work in the correctional field where I had to teach rehabilitation to pedophiles and people in the criminal justice situation. Yeah. But I will say this, and I'm not taking up for any criminal or anyone who does their deed. Everyone is teachable. And sometimes when you cross paths with that person, hopefully it's for a reason and a season and a time such as this. So with that being said, I have taught people in the prison system, and clearly you can see the crime and what they did and all that. But your goal is not to judge them off the crime that they did. That's why certain jobs is not for everyone. We can't be biased. If you know he killed 5 people, you don't go in with the mindset that he killed 5 people. Right. You have a job to do. Your job is rehabilitation or whatever the situation is. I know, like the woman said, as a parent, to me, my perspective, I guess, came out different because I began to be more humbling. I had to say, well, I'm not as bad as I thought. Or, it was a learning lesson because when you go up in there, whatever job you do, I'm hoping you get a learning lesson out of it. So I just want to say shout out to that lady.
Yeah. All right. Can you believe it? We are coming up on time, but do you have some things going on in your VFW that you might want to share, or some of the things that you guys are doing?
So yesterday we just did a poppy fundraiser, and that's the organization. They'll say their flower basically, and what poppy we do, we cannot sell anything. I want to be very clear. We cannot sell anything, but I will say with the VFW 3480, we do focus on 5 pillars. The pillars is youth scholarships, meaning we engage with the youth. They write a military themed essay, and they get to whatever the topic is, according to the national and the state, they get to write and express accordingly. If they do so successfully, they have an opportunity to win a scholarship or any monetary award. And they can do that on the local level as well as the district level. The other pillar is community service. And it sounds like what I'm saying, community service, us giving back and respecting the community and so forth. The next pillar is veteran services. We do educate, we do provide resources to veterans should they need it. And we don't want to leave a veteran behind. There are literally veterans at home dying off and not knowing that these organizations exist. I'm talking about the VFW, which is the Veteran of Foreign Wars, the DAV, Disability American Services, the American Legion. I can go on, but it's plenty organizations out there. You don't have to join mine. I don't own the VFW. I'm just a placeholder, if you will. And then we focus on the last 2, which I meshed together, which is Illinois advocacy and legislation. It's a lot of people that doesn't know what goes on in their county. And you got to be educated. There are bills and laws being passed. There are benefits that veterans could be awarded if they were educated on that. Most places have a local VAC or Veteran Assistance Commission. You see me with the acronym.
I love it. I love it.
So with the VAC, the Veteran Assistance Commission, it's a good place to go. I know in the St. Clair County, we hold ours every last Tuesday of the month.
hmm I know our VAC is, I think I'm not sure where we hold the meetings, but I'm going to find out and put it in the chat for those in the Chicagoland area, because that's where you can find out about everything that's going on with legislation and things like that. I definitely would agree. So our time is about to wrap up, but I am going to pull myself out of this camera because I want to say what's ever on your heart, what's ever on your mind. And I thank you for being our guest today. And then I'll come back up and we'll just tell all of the audience goodbye. So go ahead. The show is yours.
So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Valerie Young once again, and everything I do it, of course, unto God. And I do want to honor my mother each and every day. This is a platform where many people can get on and express themselves accordingly. We can get on, we can inform, we can enlighten, we can educate. And I want to say you could never have a hero without her, HER. Thank you.
We love it. We love that you decided to come on Shero Coffee Chat. And you guys, don't forget, we've got coffee and tea now. I want you to support. If you believe in women veterans, I want you to support our coffee, support our tea. And it tastes delicious. It tastes delicious. But Valerie, Commander Young, thank you so much for today. And we're just going to end like this. I want you to keep the conversation going, and I want you to keep sipping Shero. I will be back next week. We cannot thank you enough, Valerie. And I just want to say thank you. And that's it. And we will see you guys next week with another episode of Shero Coffee Chat. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this week's Shero Coffee Chat. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button so you never miss what's coming next. And hey, make sure your weekday begins with Shero Coffee, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. You can visit us at sherocoffee.com. We'll see you next week right here on Shero Coffee Chat, and have a blessed week.